Badass business owners, welcome to another episode of the Local Small Business Coach Podcast, where each episode we work on getting you to $100,000 in take-home pay. So if you're all ready to boost your profits, increase your sales, improve your processes, and develop stronger teams so you can stop living job to job, then let's dive in. Hey, badass local small business owners, it's Tammy, and we're back for another episode of the Local Small Business Coach Podcast. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you've been here for a while, hey, glad you came back. You know, last week, I kind of touched a little bit on what I call monkey mind, and it's been a real big focus of mine personally for the last few weeks. And monkey mind is something that I think all of us suffer from, especially because we're entrepreneurs, we're trying to build something, we've got a business. And basically to me, monkey mind can mean something different to everybody. But to me, monkey mind is when you have so many thoughts bouncing in your head and you have so many different ideas and so many things going on and you just don't know where to go. You don't know where to start. Maybe you jump from project to project. You probably don't complete one thing over the other. You're just kind of like scattered, but you just can't turn your brain off. Now, sometimes some people would call that ADHD. You got all this energy and your brain won't shut off. And you know what? Believe it or not, there is a high percentage of entrepreneurs that have ADHD. So it's not surprising. I know I have it to a degree. I think everybody does. It kind of runs in my family at the same time. But the main thing is, you have to, for that side of it, sometimes you have to take other things. Like, for example, I'm always listening to podcasts in my ear when I work because it helps me stay focused. Sounds completely crazy to people, but I've always been that way. I have to have something playing in my ear to help me stay focused. You might have found something that you work around that. But you don't have to necessarily be ADHD to suffer from monkey mind. And monkey mind is just, if you really love and care about your business and you're passionate about it, you're always going to be having ideas. And then what happens is, on top of all the ideas, you also suffer from the fact that you have a never-ending list of things that you can do within your business. So sometimes it's not so much that your mind's going crazy as much as your to-do list, your task list, whatever you want to call it, is piling up because there's so much that goes along with running a business. So in which case, all of that fills your head and you don't know where to go. So this monkey mind can go from any type of area it can pop into your head. Now, for the lucky one of us that have both parts going, it could really be overwhelming at times and can really prevent you from moving forward with what you need to do within your business. Because if you've got all the ideas pouring in one way, you have all the daily tasks that need done, and there's only so much time in the day and so much time in the week, it's no wonder why you feel like you can never breathe. For those of you that have been in the ocean, and I have a distinct memory of this. I grew up in California, so I went to the beach all the time when I was a kid. And one of the things that you've got is you've got the current that when you stand in the water, sometimes you would stand there and the waves would go in and out. And when the waves would pull back, it would start filling your feet up with sand and start, burying you and pulling you out at the same time. But one time, my brother and I, we were swimming in this little cove area and we got hit by this massive wave. And while we were under that wave, we would try to come up. It took our breath away. And then what would happen is the next wave would hit. So the minute we would get to the surface, another wave would hit. So we never could really fully catch our breath. And it's a really panic moment because you don't know when your next breath is going to happen. And until you can break free from wave after wave after wave, pushing you back down before you can get a full breath and pulling you out to the ocean at the same time. And that's kind of how we feel sometimes when we suffer from monkey mind. Sometimes we feel so overwhelmed that we can't catch a breath. We have so much to do and we're fighting for our lives all the time. It's just, hopefully a lot of you guys can understand what I'm talking about. And I have a feeling that the person listening right now, you suffer from this. When I talked about this briefly, I know in our Facebook group, we kind of talked, we had some feedback with people going, oh my gosh, I have monkey mind or I suffer from it. We had some great examples and whatnot. And I'm going to hit a couple, especially one of them, which I really liked. The key is, how do you get out of monkey mind? How do you handle having monkey mind? I can hear it now. Tammy, great. We've all identified I've got monkey mind. Now, how do I get out of this? Save me. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about what I have done, and I want to share what others have done. to me, I liken monkey mind to time management. And even though they have nothing to do with each other, bear with me for a second. Time management is one of those things that took me years to realize that one time management system did not work for everybody. There is no cure that this time management system works for you no matter what. Because our brains are all different. The way we process things are all different. So I used to laugh when I used to have to teach time management courses because I knew in the end I was giving some good tips to people, but in the end, only a select few would be able to resonate with that version of time management. And matter of fact, I had it the other day. I put everything into my phone calendar, my Google Calendar, so that way it's on my desktop, it's on my phone. If it's not in there, I'm going to forget it. Meanwhile, the lady that I'm working with and I share an office with, she's the complete opposite. It has to be in her day planner. And it made me flash back to my partner in crime back in my Home Depot days. She also had a Franklin planner and everything had to be in the planner. She just would not put it into her electronic calendar. It's just the way our brains work. We worked completely different. And if you knew us, we were completely different. Everything that we did, how we handled things, the way our processes, she was more analytical. I was a little bit more all over the place. Now, we were both extremely successful. We just did things differently. The reason I tell you this story is to come back to the monkey mind piece is I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've done and some of the things that other people have done. And you've got to kind of keep tweaking this in order for you to deal with your monkey mind, because monkey mind is not necessarily a bad thing because you're capturing all kinds of stuff. It's what you do with all of these ideas and all of these things that will help you be successful. Because if you're just sitting there suffering from monkey mind, it's not going to help you. But if you have monkey mind and you know how to channel it for positive, channel your powers for good, then you'll be okay. All right. So the first thing is to recognize it's not going to change. If your brain's going crazy and you've got lots of ideas, that's a good thing. So the number one thing that I can tell you is you need to get them out of your head and written down. You can put them into your phone. You can leave yourself a voicemail. I personally tend to send myself emails. So what I do is I open up my email app. I do an email to myself and I capture that idea. So that way the idea is captured and it goes to my email. So I never have to let it just sit in my brain and go, oh my God, I'm never going to remember this. I'm never going to remember this. Now, some people have on their phone little to-do lists. There's drafts. There's, some people use Evernote. Some people use all kinds of stuff. Some people just have a notepad in their pocket and they just pull out the notepad and they write it down. I was doing that last night. I had some ideas coming and I didn't want to drain my phone because I was running out of juice, and there happened to be a piece of paper. So I took a piece of paper. I had a district manager one time who he carried a single yellow sheet of paper. And what he did is he folded it up and he would capture every single one of ideas on this paper. And at the end of the night, he would transfer that information. I bought a recorder at the time back in the day, and that helped me. So everybody's a little different. Just capture the idea. I asked a question, where do you get your best ideas? I personally get mine when I'm in the shower, probably because there's no distraction, no noise. And for some reason, I have great ideas. Some people have them at night when they lay down, which case have paper handy. That way you can write it down. Put a notepad by your bed, or like I said, you can put it into your phone. Just capture the ideas. It's going to help you. Now, the next thing is once you write it all down, what do you do with it? Well, let me tell you something. Here's the funny thing about monkey mind. You're going to have some wonderful ideas. You're going to have some great ideas, but you're not going to do them all. Remember I told you how I email them to myself? When I'm in cleanup mode on my email, and I've caught up with the day's business, I'll go back through my older emails to see if there's anything major that I forgot. And I laugh at how many things I'll either transfer it over to my iPad, which has all my official ideas and stuff in it, or my podcast ideas. I write it on my future podcast list, for example. Or if it's something to do with a course, I put it under my course stuff. So I transfer some of it over, and some of it just disappears. Because I think to myself, what was I thinking? Why did I think that was such a great idea? Because sometimes in hindsight, we realize, that's nothing. And in some cases, it might be something worth doing, but it's not necessarily worth doing now, but it's a future idea. So I'll capture that because someday it may be important to me, or someday it may just fall off altogether, depending upon where my business is. So part of what you're going to do with all of these ideas, by capturing them, one, you take the pressure off your brain to try to remember it. That's one. Two, by writing them down, it actually lets you see them again through a different set of eyes, because it's going to look different when you write it down, and you'll go, Okay. So it's either going to be good enough to keep or you're just going to toss it. The other thing that you want to do is you want to start prioritizing these things because there are some things that absolutely need to be done now. If it involves you getting paid, you absolutely want to put that at the top of the list. If it's something that you know would be a neat way for you to do something a year from now, 6 months from now, that's going to be prioritized a lot lower. So if you try to stick to the ABC method, it's going to help you out a lot. Because, A's are immediate, needs to get done now. C's are future things, and B's are somewhere in between. They're projects that you should work on soon, but they're not necessarily emergencies. I like the ABC method. I think it really helps. Now, where monkey mind comes in and really kills you is when everything is an A. For example, when I was doing some stuff to do with the coaching business and all these different ideas I want to do, because as you know, I want to do a membership side. I've got a course I want to do. I've got the website. I've got these podcasts. I've got all these different things that I'm doing all at the same time. And when my monkey mind kicks in, guess what? I have great ideas in every single one of those buckets. So to me, when I'm doing my ABCs, guess what? A big chunk of them end up in A's because it's an A for this, an A for this, an A for that, an A item for that. And I realize I can't do all of them. I've got to prioritize what are true A's. So maybe the A plus, A and A minus if you want. But the reality is they may not all be A's. And this is going to be one of the things that I want to tell you. The biggest thing that you can do when it comes to your monkey mind is always remember this. You need to get paid. Simple, huh? You need to get paid. So the things that are true A's are things that actually cause you to make sure that you're getting paid. Now, getting paid could be as simple as someone handing you cash or credit card, whatever the case may be. Or it could be something as simple as, for example, doing your invoicing. It could be doing your bookkeeping. That all has to do with you getting paid. Now, getting paid also means doing a job that needs to be done right now. That's getting paid. So, creating sales, and if you need to create sales and you need to implement one of the items, that doesn't necessarily mean your monkey mind of the 20 different things you thought about sales, but one of those items is really going to lead to right now, low-hanging fruit, get the sales now. That would be something you'd want to concentrate on. So try to, when you're thinking of your monkey mind and all these different ideas, you want to prioritize them. And when you're prioritizing them, are they long-term? You need to do it because long-term this is going to benefit you? Or is it something that's going to take care of a problem right now? Now, I'm not saying to ignore the long-term stuff. Please hear me out. When I'm telling you to work on your business, there's going to be times when you're working on your business and you're dealing with these long-end goals, these long-term goals and putting things in place. I'm just talking about the immediate monkey mind. What is today? What is a high priority today? Typically, it's going to be things that have to do with getting paid, taking care of your employees, because guess what? If you take care of your employees, you're going to get paid. So when I say getting paid, I don't necessarily mean, here's my dollar. I'm talking about the things that lead to a nice, strong, healthy business to ensure that you're getting the sales you need to get paid. All right. Hopefully that's making some sense. Most of you guys do not have employees, but at the same time, as you do take some people off of the street to help you out. So that plays into that. All right. Anyways. The second thing that is a great way for you to prioritize your monkey mind, to take all these ideas, is to have what your ultimate goal is. What is your end goal? What is it that you need to accomplish? So let's just say getting paid, that's a given. We're going to put that aside for a second. So let's just say what's your next major thing. So let's just say your next thing is you want to increase your sales 10%. All right. You want to increase your sales 10%. You want to increase your profits 15%. Pick whatever of those goals that you want to go for. Now, when you're suffering from monkey mind, the next level that you want to look at is, if this is your number one goal in your business. Now, by the way, it could be more than just sales and profits. Your number one goal could be to improve your team, for example. It could be to improve certain processes or a particular process. So I wouldn't necessarily say improve all my processes. I would pick a specific process that you want to improve. And if you've done the business health check that I have out there, then you know that one of the challenges that you have is to come up with 1 or 2 processes that you plan to improve in the next 90 days. So let's just say your next goal after making sure you get paid is, I'm going to take this process and I'm going to make it better. All right. And what you're going to want to do is when you have this monkey mind is, does everything contribute to you improving that process? If it doesn't work towards that goal, then guess what? You need to bounce it down. So if it doesn't go to A, getting paid, and then B, achieving the specific goal that is your number one priority in your business, then it gets bumped. So if you kind of rack and stack your business a little bit, it helps you continue to move forward. One of the things that I want to kind of step back for a second is, let me do this. There's 3 buckets that we typically have. One, bucket A is doing the actual business, doing what it is that you're getting paid to do. Bucket B is you need to get paid for what it is that you do. And bucket C is the future profits, the future business that you're going to grow and whatnot. And one of the things you probably noticed that I didn't talk about in here are the things that fall into doing the business today, your current customers and clients, the things that you need to do. Because that's kind of a given. You need to make sure that you take care of those things. So part of your monkey mind might be, oh my gosh, I got to follow up with Mrs. Jones. Please make sure that that stays a priority, because that customer and maintaining that customer is definitely a top priority. So when I kind of leave those out, I want to make sure that I step back in, because I do not want you to not do the actual business that you're being paid to do. Now, one of those priorities might be to improve a process to do better. So for example, let's just say you are terrible at communication. You don't get back to people on your phone, email as quickly as you should. That's a process that you might make a top priority. As part of your monkey mind, you're going to take all the ideas that have to do with that and make sure that when your brain's going crazy, is there anything inside of your brain that's bouncing around that has to do with communication to get back with a client and stuff? So absolutely, that needs to be something that gets taken care of. I just want to kind of step back right now because I know someone's thinking that, but besides that, I just don't want to leave out the given. Sometimes when we've been in business for a long time, we think certain things are a given. Of course, you would never do that. Some of you are thinking, Tammy, of course I would never do that. But guess what? When you're new at building your business, you have so many things going on, you kind of lose sight of what's the right priority and what's not. And that's okay. I don't want you to do that, but you're normal. I know you want to know that you're not alone. A lot of us, when we first start our businesses or our business grows so fast that we can't, keep up with everything, this monkey mind gets even worse. So, sometimes once again, we just go crazy. I don't want anybody to assume not to do something. So, when you're looking at your monkey mind, this is why it's really important that you write it down, because when you write it down, it's going to pop off that page as something that, oh my God, I need to do this now. Or B, oh, I need to get paid. There you go. And C, the other thing that you're going to get out of that is the fact that, this is an important thing that I need to take care of. And like I said, you're going to have some, your brain's never going to stop. It's about capturing what it is that you need to capture. And remember, if you stick to the buckets, doing the business, getting paid, and your future profits, it really will help you out. And then you can kind of prioritize within each of those buckets at the same time. Now, one of the things this kind of came up in the Facebook group, Badass Local Small Business Owners. Make sure you join us, by the way. But one of the things that came up is Stephen had brought up that he uses WOTB. And I love this. WOTB, working on the business, because he talks about this very thing. He's figured out that he needs to work on getting paid. But when he's not doing the job and he's not getting paid, guess what? He's WOTB. He's working on the business. And that's any other time that's left, he's working on the business, and he's managed to prioritize within that. So he's doing exactly what it is that I'm talking about here. But I love that because that's his acronym to himself. So when he's planning out and looking at things, that's what he calls it, his WOTB time. So I thought that was kind of neat. And maybe you have a acronym that you have or a saying that you have, whatever it is, you can call whatever that bucket is that you want. Now, when you're working on the business, I want to take a moment here, because there's a couple different things that when your monkey mind's going crazy, there's so many different ideas. And like I said, there's some things that are low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit, basically, if you've never heard that saying before, just means it's so easy for you to pick up, grab that fruit, and you can start enjoying it right away. So low-hanging fruit within your business are simple fixes or fixes that will make a quick impact on your business. So it may not necessarily be simple, but if you do it, you're going to get immediate results. That would be low-hanging fruit. So make sure that when you are working on the business and you are looking for this low-hanging fruit. What are some things that you can do right away that's going to, increase those sales, increase those profits, improve our process, develop stronger teams, those 4 categories that we talk about all the time. So make sure you look for those first. Then you want to make sure that you then, when you're looking at the rest of all these things going on through your head, look through your list. Constantly be crossing things off, because if it doesn't help you towards a particular goal, you don't need it. So you can cross it off, or you can just go ahead and automatically put into that C bucket for the future. For example, I have some ideas that I've jotted down that I know in the future are going to be fantastic for my business. They're nice to do's, because I always say there's need to do's and nice to do's and shouldn't do's. The need to do's are the things that we're talking about today, as far as, I need to get this done. Nice to do's are things that, it could be good 6 months from now, it could be good a year, 2 years out, but I want to keep them on the list. And then don't even need to do it. It's like, what was I thinking? Why did that even pop into my head? And those are the things that you're going to put in the trash of your brain, the trash of your computer, the trash in the trash can if you wrote it down, whatever the case may be. Here's another way to look at it. I'm just trying to throw out different ideas for you guys, because like I said, not one size fits all. Another thing you can look at is the 80-20 rule, because the way the 80-20 rule is going to work is that 20% of what you do leads to 80% of your profits. So you want to make sure that, if only 20% leads to the majority of your sales, you want to make sure that your focus is on that 20% of what you do, because 80% of what you do is not leading to the vast majority of your businesses. So you want to, same thing with your list. If you've got a list of 10 things, only 20% of those are going to lead to success for you. So it's constantly reshuffling that and saying, okay, what's the top priority? The cool thing about doing something on a computer is you can reshuffle things. You can reorganize, you can cut and paste, you can move things around. But you can do that on a list too. Just depending upon how you rewrite your list or whatever the case may be, whatever works for your brain. I'm not going to tell anybody to do it a specific way. For me, like I said, I love capturing things, and I found for me, it's kind of weird. My calendar must be 100% online digital. But when it comes to my ideas, I have it both ways. I have it on a computer digital so I can play with it. And then I also write it down, because when I write it down, it actually gives me that thought of, do I really want to do this? Or that's completely stupid. So I kind of do a combination. That's just me. But figure out how yours particularly works. So I'm just rattling at this point, and as you know, what do I always say? When I start rattling, at least to my head, I know it's time to start wrapping this puppy up. So if you're suffering from monkey brain and you've got so many ideas, so many things going on, it's not going to stop. But the key is to find out what system works for you. And this might take some practice. This might take some shuffling and changing things around. Like I said, honestly, one thing doesn't fit all. All our brains are wired a little bit different. So it's really important. The biggest thing that I can tell each and every one of you is you need to capture it. I don't care how your brain works. It needs to be captured. Whether it's captured in writing, it's captured in your computer, it's captured through your email, a to-do list, task list, whatever. Capture the ideas. You've got to get them out of your head for you to move forward. The second thing is you must prioritize it. And that's all of us. We need to take that list, no matter which way we did it, and then start prioritizing it. And when we prioritize it, the first one is today's current business. We need to make sure that if it involves your current business and staying on top of your business and making sure that you're giving fantastic customer service and you're doing high quality work, that's going to come first. The second thing you're going to do is you need to get paid for what it is that you're doing. So if it involves getting paid, that is what needs to get done as well. So anything that goes along in your monkey mind as far as today's current business, then you need to make sure that you stay on top of today's current business, that you get paid. That's your next one. And then after that, you can start working on the business and you can start finding those other areas that are going to take the business to the next level. You have your long-term game and you have your short term. So make sure those are prioritized as to what are the easy fixes that you can do, or the most important. So sometimes easy isn't the most important, by the way. If this one thing's going to take a little bit longer, but it's going to have the biggest impact on your long-term business model, then that's probably going to come ahead of something that's short term that's only going to have a baby impact. Like I said, this is where we're a little bit different, all of us, with how we prioritize things. But to me, that's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. So you want to look at that. So monkey mind, it's real. I call it, this is what I say. I say monkey mind, the struggle is real. we all suffer from it. It's the nature of an entrepreneur. It's the nature of somebody that's trying to build something. It's the nature of somebody who's not just following the orders that somebody gives them. The reason you no longer work for the man, the reason that you no longer work for somebody else is because you wanted to go out, kill something, drag it home, and build it yourself. You're going to suffer from monkey mind because there's not this checklist of things that you're going to be doing. And you're always going to have a bunch of things going on from your customers, from your employees, from your business, from all kinds of stuff. So just prioritize. Make sure that it goes towards a specific goal. So A, make sure it's improving the business. B, that you're getting paid. And C, is you always need to have a specific goal and ask yourself, when all these ideas going through my head, if it doesn't work towards one of those three, I need to write it down and come back to it. Hopefully that helps you. Like I said, if you have any great ideas on monkey mind and how you handle monkey mind that's different than what I've been saying, I want to hear it. You're going to help somebody. Everybody's brains are a little bit different, and I would love for you to share. That's one reason why I created the Badass Local Small Business Owners Facebook page. Please, it's in the show notes. Please make sure you come join the group. I want you guys to share your ideas. Not everybody's going to agree with what it is that I have to say. Sometimes there's been some great ideas so far right now from some of you guys out there. Like I said, the WOTB, that's fantastic, which what he shared. So, there's some great ideas. The group's growing a little bit every single week, which is fantastic. There's some more ideas in there, and the more people share, the more we can get from each other. Because guess what? Doing this is not easy, but it's fun, it's rewarding, and it's worth it. And if you can learn from other business owners that are going through exactly what you're going through, isn't that fantastic? Even if you only pop in and see some of the questions and what people are answering, I encourage you, get involved, throw things out there that you want to know about, and answer other people, help them out as well, because we've got people at all stages of their business, and it's fantastic. I'm loving it. So once again, if you'd like to join our Facebook group, just go into the show notes, hit Facebook group, and come join us at the Badass Local Small Business Owners. And with that, I am going to go ahead and wrap this puppy up, and I will see you guys in a couple of days. Bye for now. Hey, before you go, I just have one little favor. If you have a subject, a topic, a question that you would like have answered on the show or talked about, please shoot me a message over at Tammy@localsmallbusinesscoach.com. Once again, I want to hear from you, so shoot it over to me, Tammy@localsmallbusinesscoach.com. Now get out there and kick some butt. See you next time.